What is happening right now in Benue State is both painful and at the same time a wake-up call for every Nigerian watching. In the last few days, people in different communities have been under serious attack. Families are crying, farmers are scared to go back to their land, and displaced persons who just tried to return home were killed on the way. Because of this, villagers and angry youths in Benue said enough is enough. They came out in their numbers and blocked the Makurdi-Ilefia highway, which is one of the major roads connecting Benue to Abuja. As they blocked the road, they were carrying placards, they were chanting, they were demanding for justice. Imagine mothers, young boys, displaced people all standing under the hot sun, saying, "We cannot continue like this." This is not just protest for protest's sake, these are people who have lost loved ones. People who have been chased from their farms. People who cannot sleep peacefully in their villages anymore. The message they wanted to send is clear: government must act, security must act, because people are tired of burying innocent souls. Now, while this protest was happening, something else was also taking place. Local vigilante groups, what many call community guards, came out to defend their own. These are not trained police, not soldiers, just ordinary people in the community who feel they must protect themselves because attackers are coming too often. According to reports, some of these vigilante groups were able to block the movement of armed herders and militants on certain routes. They said, "You cannot pass through our land to cause more harm." And in some clashes, these local defenders stood their ground and forced attackers to retreat. At the same time, the Nigerian police were also involved. There was an ambush on police tactical teams where some officers lost their lives and others were declared missing. In response, the police carried out arrests. They announced that 6 suspects connected to the violence have been taken into custody, and they are still hunting for more. This shows you how dangerous the situation has become. Even trained officers are being ambushed in this conflict. Friends, don't forget to like this video right now and subscribe to the channel, because we need to spread this story wider. When you like and share, you're helping more people know what is really going on in Benue. Let's pause and think about the human side. Imagine you are a farmer who planted maize or yam, and for months you were displaced because of fighting. You finally tried to return home, only to be attacked on the way back. This is exactly what happened to some internally displaced persons. They were killed as they returned. That pain is what led to the massive road blockade. These are not just statistics, these are real people with families. The women we saw on the road were crying. The youths were shouting. They are saying, "If government cannot protect us, then we will shout until they hear us." Now here's the bigger question: why is this happening? Benue State has been a hotspot of clashes between armed herders and farming communities for years. The root of the problem is partly about land. Grazing land is reducing, farming land is contested, and when cattle stray into farms, farmers get angry. Over time, this land issue has turned into deadly conflict. Climate change is also part of the problem: less grass, less water, more competition. Add to that criminals who use the tension to carry out killings and kidnappings, and it becomes even worse. This is why people sometimes say Fulani Militias or armed herders. But we must be careful with language. Not every Fulani person is part of violence. Many are peaceful Nigerians who are also victims. What we are seeing are armed groups who sometimes identify as herders, sometimes just criminals, but the result is the same: villages destroyed, lives lost. That is why some reports use the word suspected or alleged, because the conflict is complex. But for the villagers in Benue, they don't care about the technical language. What they see is blood, burning homes, and people killed. That is why vigilantes are rising. They don't want to wait for police to come. They believe they must stop the attackers themselves. And in some places, these vigilantes are said to have blocked key roads and even chased away armed men. That's why you see headlines saying militia suffered heavy defeat. But let me remind you, my people, while vigilantes may stop one attack today, the danger is also very high. These are ordinary people confronting heavily armed groups. Anything can go wrong. They can be outgunned, or mistaken fights can happen. But it also shows you the level of desperation. People feel, if we don't defend ourselves, who will? Please, as you are watching this, kindly press that like button now and subscribe if you haven't done so. It helps this message travel to more people who need to hear it. The police, for their part, say they are not folding their hands. They carried out operations, made arrests, and promised to bring suspects to justice. But the truth is, many in Benue don't feel protected enough. They feel the response is too slow, and that is why they are blocking highways, shouting on the streets, and organizing themselves. Now, the risk of this self-defense approach is that it can turn into a bigger circle of violence. If vigilantes kill suspected attackers, it can spark retaliation. If government doesn't step in quickly, the violence can spin out of control. That is why many people are now calling for urgent action, not just words. They want soldiers on the ground, they want the highways safe, they want IDP camps secured. So, let's move forward. When you look at the highway blockade in Benue, it is not just about anger, it is also about survival. People are saying, if you don't listen to us, we will make you listen by stopping traffic on one of the most important roads. The Makurdi-Lafia highway is a lifeline. Trucks, buses, travelers, all pass through there. By blocking it, the protesters sent a loud signal to both state and federal authorities. And let me tell you, when displaced people and grieving families gather to block a federal highway, it means the situation has reached boiling point. Now, let's think about the scale of displacement. Reports over the past months show that thousands of people have been forced to leave their homes in Benue. IDP camps are overflowing. Families are living in schools, in unfinished buildings, in tents, depending on aid for food and water. Some camps have been attacked before, making them unsafe too. Imagine being forced out of your house, then being attacked again in the camp that was supposed to protect you. That's the heartbreaking reality people in Benue are living with. And that is why the protest had so much energy. Mothers holding leaves, youths shouting with placards, people saying, no security, no farming. They are making it clear, if they can't farm, then hunger will spread, not just in Benue but across Nigeria. Remember, Benue is called the food basket of the nation. If farmers cannot return to their fields, the ripple effect will be felt everywhere, in the markets, in the cost of food, in the supply chain. Please, if you are still with me, kindly like this video and subscribe. Let's push this story so that more Nigerians understand what is at stake. Now, I want to explain something important. When we say vigilantes confronted attackers, some people imagine it was like a full war where one side totally defeated the other. But the reality is, these are running battles, quick clashes, and blockades. The vigilantes succeed sometimes in stopping movements, chasing away intruders, or blocking dangerous routes. This doesn't mean the whole crisis is over. It just means communities are no longer waiting quietly, they are acting. And for the attackers, it means moving freely is not as easy as before. That's why some say militia suffered a setback. At the same time, the Nigerian police and security agencies are trying to restore order. The ambush on their tactical team shocked the nation. Officers died in the line of duty, some went missing, and it showed how deadly the terrain has become. But after that, 6 suspects were arrested, and operations are still ongoing. Authorities promised to continue the manhunt and secure the area. Now here's the bigger picture. Why are these clashes happening more often? The answer is that climate change, land pressure, and weak security all combine to fuel this fire. Rainfall patterns have changed, grazing routes are shrinking, farmlands are contested, and some groups carry arms to force their way. The result? Deadly violence. And because justice is slow, communities lose trust and start taking matters into their own hands. Let's not forget, this crisis is not only about land. It's also about perception. When locals feel attacked by armed herders, they sometimes generalize the blame to an entire ethnic group. That deepens division, and criminals use that division to carry out even more killings. But we must be careful, not every Fulani person is part of the violence, just like not every farmer is an angel. There are bad actors exploiting the situation, and they must be identified and dealt with. My people, kindly hit that like button again and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement keeps us going, and it helps this story reach more people who may not know the truth. Now, let's talk about the risks of this vigilante action. It is brave, yes. It is understandable, yes. But it is also dangerous. These are not trained soldiers. They can make mistakes. They can arrest the wrong person. They can escalate fights. And if armed attackers decide to retaliate, the community might pay an even heavier price. That's why, while the courage of vigilantes is respected, the real solution must come from a strong, professional security response that works hand in hand with the community. The government says they are working, but the people say they are not seeing enough action. Arresting suspects is good, but what people want is prevention. They want to be safe in their homes, not running to block highways after another killing has already happened. The cries are clear: protect us now, not after the attack. And let me say this, if Benue, the food basket, continues to face this level of violence, Nigeria's food security will be threatened. Already, food prices are high. Imagine if farmers keep abandoning their fields. Hunger will rise. Poverty will grow. And that is why this crisis is not just a Benue problem, it is a national problem. Please, don't forget to like this video right now and subscribe. Let's make this gist go far, because awareness is the first step to action. So here is where we are now: communities are mobilizing, vigilantes are rising, highways are being blocked, and security forces are still battling to control the situation. It is tense, it is painful, and it is urgent. The world is watching, Nigerians are waiting, and families in Benue are praying for peace.